Hello everyone, and welcome to the Unmasking the Narcissist channel. I'm Dean, the host of the Unmasking the Narcissist channel, and also the host of the N.A.R.C.N network. Today I'm going to be presenting to you episode 20 on the Unmasking the Narcissist channel, and the title of episode 20 is Your Person a Narcissist? Now this is going to be part 2. In part 1 we did the introduction, and here in part 2 we're going to be talking about some of the things that may affect whether or not the new person you're dealing with is actually a narcissist or not. And what we're going to be talking about in this particular video is some of the inherited behaviors that narcissists can be exposed to and or demonstrate that may be an indicator to you that you might be dealing with a narcissistic person. Now, some of the content of this video is coming about because I had an incident just last week with somebody who presented some examples to me of a person that they are dealing with whom I believe is a narcissist. And the reason I believe that this person may have NPD disorder and the way they may be behaving with the person I'm friends with is that one of the things that's going on with them is they have an instance in their life where they themselves, this is the person we suspect of being a narcissist I'm talking about here. This person has some examples in their life where they have been either abused or neglected by their parents. And as it turns out, the person that is my friend that is dealing with this, they were made aware by their person, this suspected narcissist, that their mother is a very uncaring, very cold, almost psychotic type individual, and they've been dealing with this for most of their lives. And their father is actually a very unaffected, very uncaring type person as well too. So they have a father and a mother within the confines of their upbringing that are both demonstrating being imbalanced and being not very stable people around this other person that my friend is dealing with. So these are strongly usually indicators of whether or not you yourself might be dealing with a person who has a personality disorder or who has narcissistic disorder, because when you have parental figures who don't deal very well or who have been abusive or neglectful with children when they were young, these examples, depending on what those examples of abuse and neglect are prime examples of why that person themselves may now suddenly be a person who has narcissistic disorder, because they've been brought up in this and they've been conditioned by those other individuals who may have narcissism themselves to be a narcissist in their adulthood. Now, I have many examples of this, of people on my channel who have presented me with evidence of this nature. I know many people off my channel who have narcissistic parents. You guys out there who may be watching this will know who you are, because I've talked to you guys extensively about this before, and there's quite a few of you out there, not just a handful, but quite a few off my network. And luckily, these individuals whose parents are full-on narcissists are not actually full-on narcissists themselves, except for maybe one or two of them who are aware that they may have some lower level NPD that was caused by their parents. But this is definitely one thing you can look out for. If you become newly engaged with somebody who's new in your life, who is a romantic interest, this also goes for somebody who might be a friendship interest as well too, because it can apply in there, but this is specifically for a romantic interest. If you see some red flags with this person, let's say early on this person talks to you about their family and they say, oh, my mother's got all kinds of problems, she's very antisocial, she seems to have depression, and she has a lot of mood swings, and she's up and down, and you can never predict what her behavior is going to be from hour to hour, minute to minute, day to day. That's a good indicator that that person may be dealing with somebody who has some type of personality disorder, or indeed has a parent or a mother who might have narcissistic personality disorder. If they have a conversation with you about that, take note of this and then start to watch out whether or not the person you're dealing with might be exhibiting some of this. The same can go for their father. If they have any behavior like this, if they tell you that their father was abusive with them when they were younger, if the father was used to talk down to them, if they used to not treat them very well, treat them very imbalanced, treat them with very bipolar up and down behavior. Again, this can be an example that the person that you're dealing with may have a person in their family who has a personality disorder or has narcissistic personality disorder. You need to watch for these particular elements when you're dealing with new people, because when you're dealing with people who are like this, who have had trauma of this nature when they were younger in family units, very commonly one of the individuals who has caused this trauma, sometimes it's both individuals who have caused this trauma, have turned this person into a narcissist themselves. Now, this doesn't happen all the time, but I can tell you based on silence that it happens about 50% of the time, if not more often than 50% of the time. Because what happens when you're dealing with people who are like this, or parents who are like this with their children, is it breeds basically just a few different types of personalities. One of those is it breeds another narcissist. Another thing it can do is it can also breed a very empathic person who doesn't become narcissistic at all. They become the complete opposite of those parents. But that happens much less than it actually forms a person into being a narcissist themselves. The empathic people who come out of that happen far less than the incidence of the narcissistic parents turning one of their children into a narcissist themselves too. I see this happen a great many times on the network. Again, there's people out there who are part of my network whom I have talked to. You guys know who you are. You've explained to me exactly, what's gone on with the individuals you've dealt with as narcissists in your life who have turned your children into narcissists themselves. There's a number of examples of this out there. I have many examples of this on the network and the people that I talk to on a day-to-day basis that can point to examples of this being the case. So, what I wanted to explain here in part 2 here, just quickly, and there will be a part 3 and probably a part 4 to this video as well too, is that you need to watch out for these things. When you get into a new relationship with somebody, if they have a lot of dialogue with you about their parents being abusive or neglectful in some particular way, and you notice other behaviors that go along with that, like self-centeredness perhaps, a lack of openness, a lack of being able to talk properly with that person, a lack of communication, they seem to be very distant with you. There can be like a ton of red flags that you can watch out for that may indicate that you may indeed be dealing with a person who has narcissistic disorder that may have been caused by a parent or a person who brought them up when they were young. Keep an eye out for these things, because these are some of the first things that you will see when you're dealing with a new person. When you start to learn about that person, you start to learn about their family. Also, by comparison, if you have conversations with people and this person is trying to get to know you because they have a romantic interest in you, it's our nature to learn as much about that person as we can, and to learn about their upbringing, to learn about their parents, to learn about their siblings. If this person is too quiet with you, or they're being deceptive, they don't want to talk about these things, they don't want to talk about, if they say to you, well, I've had a lot of trauma when I was young and I don't want to talk about it. Red flag. That's a red flag. That's a big red flag there, that maybe you want to think twice about going any further with this person, because this is another instance that you might have to deal with where you're not really getting any information out of this person. A person who wants to convey to you part of themselves and wants to open up to you, they will talk to you about these things. Even if they've had trauma in their life, they will tell you that they're trying to get over it, they're trying to work past it, they're trying to improve their life, they're trying to do these things. A person that doesn't want to talk to you about those things, they're hiding things. And if they continue to not want to talk to you while you're trying to form a bond with them within the confines of a romantic relationship, this is a big red flag. I would be very careful about becoming involved with that person, because I hear about this stuff constantly on the N.A.R.C.N. network again. and I see the constant traumatic events that people deal with individuals who are like this with them on my network, and I would greatly suggest against continuing to go forward with that person if you are experiencing any of the aforementioned things I have talked about. Keep a close eye out. These are clear indicators. These are clear red flags that you might indeed be dealing with a person who might have NPD or some type of other personality disorder. These are things to look out for. When we're trying to find love in the world here, I'm not saying that you can't love a person that might have some issues in life. This is possible. People work through this. But anytime you are dealing with a person who has some high-level issues and red flags are presenting, you need to think carefully about those things, and you need to think whether or not you want that type of energy in your life. You may not want that type of energy in your life. Many people choose to shy away from that energy and go on to an energy that is less problematic and perhaps more positive, less affected by the negativities of life. And if you choose to do that, there is nothing wrong with you for choosing to do that. That is your choice. But as well, some people will choose to continue along with these individuals, and often when they do, they find themselves within relationships with individuals who have personality disorders, either bipolar disorder, narcissistic personality disorder, DID, a number of these disorders. And if you do not wish to engage with somebody who has something like this going on in their life, these are strong indicators of things to watch out for, so you don't become entwined or embroiled with somebody who may have these issues if you do not desire to go down that type of road with that particular person. So this is just a little advice here in part 2 of episode 20. We're gonna be doing more stuff here, more indicators, more stuff to look out for in part 3. Please stay tuned for part 3. I hope you guys have a great day. Look out for new videos coming up on the N.A.R.C.N network and also on the Unmasking the Narcissist channel. Have a great day, guys, and I'll catch you really soon.